Chief at Mother Jones, David Korn. Steve, let's start with you. Donald Trump has very publicly been a skeptic of these intelligence agencies and this information. But the fact that there's a lot of pressure here. He's meeting with intelligence officials. Now the public report is coming out. To Christian's point, it's been called an act of war. Nancy Pelosi just is stunning. What is Donald Trump going to do?
Well, I don't know, but we'll find out, I suspect, very shortly, if not today, then in the coming days. And perhaps this briefing will change his tone. But I think that skepticism of intelligence reports is okay. Had George W. Bush, yes, had George W. Bush been skeptical of the CIA's conclusion, we might never gotten involved in that awful imbroglio in Iraq, and we would not have wasted as much treasure and American blood as we did had he taken a skeptical view. There's nothing unpatriotic about saying. Without a doubt.
I mean, that's why someone becomes the president. They, are the official last word. But being a public skeptic, goading, antagonizing, calling it intelligence, who does that help? How does that make America great?
The reason that he's had to go public on this is because, unfortunately, there have been so many leaks out of our intelligence community that they chose to go public. It would be wonderful, I think, for American national security if all of this could have been done behind closed doors. I think the point here, too, is whatever the source of the hack. No. But whatever the source of the hack, and hacking is wrong, and we can't have it as Americans. Not from China, not from Russia, not from anyone. If it jeopardizes our security, if it jeopardizes our economic security. And I think we've been too lax about hacking. But this is also very important to point out. Whatever the source of the hacks, what was revealed by all indications was the truth, and the truth about the Democratic Party and about Hillary Clinton and her top staffers. The truth, once revealed, convinced Americans that the more they knew about them, the less they liked her, the less they trusted them.
David?
I pity you, Steve, to have to defend Donald Trump on this matter. He has said so many things that are just outright false. Not that he's a skeptic. That's a polite way of putting it. He said weeks ago that this wasn't an issue before the election. No one knew about this before the election. Why are we raising this issue now? When, in fact, the ONDI and DHS, you can look up those initiatives. I don't know what they are, had put out a statement on October. I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you.
I did not interrupt you. I know exactly what they are.
I did not interrupt you.
We're going to end this right now if you can't be respectful to one another. David?
They put
out a statement on October 7th outlining this issue. So he just sort of made it up that this was a post-election issue. He has said that Julian Assange knows more than the intelligence community does. Well, what? He hasn't proven that. He said that he knew something special about the hacking that he would tell us this past Tuesday and Wednesday. He didn't do that either. He has been spinning or fabricating and saying false and misleading statements on this issue for months, and it all ties into the mystifying approach he has towards Russia and Putin and trying to dismiss this intervention.
Is what the mainstream media has been saying for weeks, which is that the election was hacked, and that is simply not true. The DNC was hacked, and the majority in polls, the majority of Democratic voters believe that actual vote tallies were manipulated by Russia. That's a fact. YouGov poll.
I'm not going to let you make a generalization about the media, because here we are, you and I. I'm not making a generalization about anything. I'm not saying that the results, I'm not saying that the election would have been different had the hacking not have happened. But in terms of this special information that Donald Trump has, what is it?
I don't know, clearly, and nobody knows. I believe that after this briefing he receives today, I think all of us are going to know a lot more, as I mentioned before, probably today, if not today, then in coming days. And this is, I think, the most important thing for Americans. The election is over. The election was not hacked. The election was fair and free. Going forward, America can't be hacked, clearly. We can't be hacked by China. We've been a victim of Chinese hacking for years. I think Donald Trump will take an incredibly aggressive approach at defending America and, when necessary, retaliating wherever hacks come from.
We do want to clarify, not necessarily the election results didn't necessarily change, but the intelligence community has told us there was a hack before. Just before we go, Steve, you basically said, or as I understand, Donald Trump has done this in response to all the leaks that are out there. But if you could help me understand, why is it that Donald Trump continues this tweet storm today alone, going after Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Apprentice and ratings? This is the president-elect. Doesn't he have anything better to do?
No, of course. Listen, I think no one can doubt his work ethic and how hard he's been working at this transition.
Yes, you can.
Look, the president-elect is a very unique politician, right? He's our first citizen president ever who didn't come from the military or from government.
Steve, please answer my question.
And part of what makes him unique is the way he speaks so candidly and with such authenticity to the American people in a way that we're simply not used to.
Matters.
Now, part of that is speaking about he has an extensive past as a television celebrity. It's important to him. It's important to his brand. It's part of what made him. It's part of what made him famous enough to run for president in the first place. So the media hates that he doesn't talk like a politician.
After the ratings of The Apprentice.
That's the most important. The guy in charge of our nuclear codes, about to have them, who's being briefed today on whether the Russians intervened and tried to turn the election one way or the other, he has nothing better to do than to sort of go on this sort of "I'm better than you" 99 tweet storm against Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, David, he's not speaking to you. He's speaking to the American people.
We're going to take a break, gentlemen.
Washington, D.C. or New York. He's speaking to the American worker who's been forgotten and will no longer be under this administration.
They care about TV ratings, right?
We're going to leave it there. And you know what, Steve, though? If you live in D.C. or New York, you also count, too.